Ukrainians are facing intensifying airstrikes as Russia attempts to ramp up the invasion. The Ukrainian President has called it a blatant campaign of terror. Several cities were hit in residential areas, resulting in dozens of civilian deaths. Europe correspondent Isabella Higgins reports from Lviv.
A television tower in Kyiv was hit by a missile strike. Minutes later, a second missile was fired by Russian forces. 5 people walking past the tower were killed and many more injured. The blast also hit the Holocaust Memorial of Babin Yar, one of the biggest single massacres of Jews by Nazi Germany. Fearing it might be their last chance to get out of the capital, people rushed to Kyiv's central station. Thousands crowded the main platform, but most couldn't get on board.
I don't want to leave, but it's completely dangerous to stay here.
Just west of Kyiv, a Russian cruise missile struck homes and a hospital in the town of Zhytomyr. Several people were killed, including a child. Firefighters shout, "There's a man in this house, be careful." And to the east, Ukraine's second largest city was bombarded again. Missiles slammed into Kharkiv's Freedom Square. Ukraine's president called it undisguised terror. Rescue teams desperately searched for survivors under the threat of more attacks. And it didn't take long. Another strike hit an apartment block.
We are shelled by Russians. We are all scared. Why us? We are regular folks.
The Ukrainian president says the world cannot allow Russia to prevail.
It is important to know that if Ukraine falls, all those troops will be at the borders of your countries, NATO members' borders, Lithuania, Poland and others.
Ukrainians are determined not to let that happen. Despite mounting Russian aggression, Ukrainians remain defiant. Here in Lviv city centre, they're using scrap fabric to make camouflage nets for their military. The nets are used to cover army equipment and soldiers so they remain invisible to drones and bombers.
They put their lives at risk. They die for us. If we can do anything to help them, then it's our duty.
These men had ordinary jobs and ordinary lives just a week ago, and now they're queuing to get weapons, to join a war that is tearing more families apart every day.
And we believe that we will see them soon. I'm sure that we will see them soon.
They part with the heartbreaking knowledge that they have no idea when that will be. Isabella Higgins, ABC News, Lviv.
And Isabella Higgins joins us now from Lviv. Isabella, we understand that Russian paratroopers have landed in Kharkiv. What do we know?
Well, Kirsten, it does appear that the besieged eastern city of Kharkiv is facing another intense attack. We understand that Russian troops airdropped into this city on parachutes and then started attacking a local hospital. Now, we understand that there has been a huge effort to evacuate patients from that hospital, particularly a children's oncology ward, because there had been grave concerns that they were about to run out of supplies to keep those children alive. So Ukraine's military says that so far there have been no casualties and that the situation is under control. But nonetheless, this is another devastating blow for a city that has really experienced the worst of this war.
Isabella Higgins reporting from Lviv. The US President has declared that Vladimir Putin was wrong and has no idea what's coming. Joe Biden used his State of the Union address to stress that the Russian president has underestimated the Ukrainian resistance and international unity. North America correspondent Jade McMillan reports.
The President of the United States.
Joe Biden's first State of the Union was more than just an address to the American public, but to the world.
6 days ago, Russia's Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways, but he badly miscalculated.
Paying tribute to the courage of the Ukrainian people as the country's ambassador to the United States watched on.
Let each of us, if you're able to stand and send an unmistakable signal to the world of Ukraine. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The president took credit for uniting Western allies in their response to Russia's aggression and announced he was following Europe's lead in blocking Russian flights from American airspace.
He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond. He thought he could divide us at home, but Putin was wrong. We are ready.
That sense of unity was also on display in Geneva. More than 100 diplomats walked out on Russia's foreign minister as he was delivering an address to the UN Human Rights Council.
The arrogant philosophy of the West, based on a sense of superiority and exclusivity, must come to an end.
What Russia did to Ukraine is an attack on the UN.
The United States is vowing that Vladimir Putin will pay a high price for his invasion of Ukraine. But Joe Biden has also acknowledged there'll be a cost at home. The US is leading efforts to release millions of barrels of oil to try to stabilise prices. But the strategy has had little impact so far.
The United States.
Yet another challenge for a president trying to manage domestic economic pressures as war engulfs Europe. Jade McMillan, ABC News, Washington.